Hi Pisces. Okay, I apologize for the delay with your shadow reading. I ran out of time yesterday, so I'm doing them now. I'm doing it now. That being said, what does Pisces have to be aware of? What does Pisces need to be aware of? Right. Come on, Pisces. Are you being stubborn or in denial about something? What does Pisces need to be aware? There it goes. It's always when I say someone's in denial about something, that's when the cards want to fly. With you in particular, I'm hearing I resent that. So, what does Pisces need to be aware of? Let's see. I know it's making stupid to some of you, but I do not pick the. It's very playing too much. Where does it actually go? Because there's no top center. Bottom of the deck. Okay. Says here you don't need. Wait, bottom of the deck or bottom of the row? You don't need it, okay. That one's bottom. Okay. What else does Pisces need to be aware of? Okay. Come on, Pisces. What does Pisces need to be aware of? Okay. I don't like doing like pivot with spirit. Let's make sure that card actually comes out. Being that did two readings in a row, I'm still starting out with doing readings back to back. They do not fully trust my ability to hear at this time, since I just did Cancer and Scorpio. Right. Take that one side message, main, or go back on the deck. Okay, let's see, you have guilt, regret, forgetting oneself, masquerade, obsession, blinded to pain, and bride in a cage. Okay, Pisces, let's see what we have for you. Starting with guilt and regret, you have that for your conscious actions, meaning actions that you're aware of. You're moving out of, I know regret and guilt are two different things, but I'm hearing that you're moving out of guilt, and it shows. You feel bad about a situation that you feel that you caused. It's not saying outright that you're the cause of the situation, but you feel like you contributed to it in some way, shape, or form, whether it be with something that you said or something that you did that caused a domino effect. but you feel like it all traces back to you. If you didn't say what you said, the next person wouldn't have acted out on it, and these two would still be speaking or something like that. Because whatever happened, I don't get the sense that it affected you directly, but it affected someone that's close to you. Either someone close to you or someone you know. So it could have affected someone you live with or a close friend or family member. But anyway, you are moving out of guilt. You're taking certain actions purely because you feel guilty about whatever the situation is. Even though for some of you, the people involved might be saying it's fine, but you don't feel like it is, you know it's not. And that things are never going to be the same. Now, that may not apply to all of you, but that applies to a vast majority of you, because I'm mostly hearing the secrets out. For your conscious thoughts or influences, the first you have is forgetting oneself. From hearing you may be hiding and wearing a mask, something you're not ready to face. So for some of you, okay, so even if you're acting out of guilt, moving out of guilt, you may not be understanding why, because some of you are influenced by forgetting oneself, whereas you're wearing a mask, you're in denial about the contributing factor of what it is you said or did. I didn't do that. That's not me. I'm not the one to blame. It's not my fault. Look, I'm the nice one. I was just being honest. I'm hearing the spirit saying bullshit. You spoke on an honest truth that was not yours to tell. So instead of them hearing it from the horse's mouth, they heard it from you instead, making it 10 times worse, because now came off as it was meant to be a secret when really parents. Okay, so for some of you in this instance, someone confided in you, and I don't know what the situation that caused it, because it's different for different people, but you spoke on whatever this was that you was not supposed to speak about with someone else confided in you about what it is they were thinking, what it is they were feeling. And it's like you spoke on it, throwing it in somebody else's face, even though it wasn't your business to tell. Now, that may not be true for all of you Pisces, but for a fair amount of you, y'all kind of had a oopsie, my bad moment. Like the moment the words left your mouth, you knew you fucked up. But it's like some of y'all are owning up to it. Like consciously you're owning up to it, but if anybody asks, a vast majority of you are saying, I'm not the cause, I'm not the problem. I was just telling the truth. I didn't know it was meant to be a secret. You're not playing victim, but yeah, some of you are playing victim if you feel like you're being blamed. Others of you, you're playing dumb like you didn't know it was going to have this effect. But if that's true, then why the fuck are you moving out of guilt? Why are you acting like someone who feels guilty? And apparently this goes hand in hand with masquerade. Because for your second conscious thought influence, I hear you're putting on an act. I hear you're playing the part you've been told to play. And this is coming off with the energy of acceptance, like, if you want to make me out to be the bad guy, fine, I'll be the bad guy. You're accepting of the fact that somebody may be blaming you for how everything went down. Or if it's more of self-blame than somebody else blaming you, you're accepting the fact that, yeah, I'm the villain in the story, yeah, I fucked up, I messed up, I screwed things up in a big way, and consciously you're accepting your role in all of this. But still you're wearing a mask. And the way the energy is coming off, you think the mask is hiding how you truly feel. Because you know on a masquerade ball you're wearing a mask to hide who you are as you move among people. Your mask would be this: acting innocent, like you didn't do anything wrong, but really the mask you're wearing is not fooling anybody. People still see under it. They know who you are. They know how you move. See how you move in. They recognize how you move in. People around you may not be saying anything about it. But you're giving yourself away. Sorry to say it like that, Pisces, but I am only the messenger for what Spirit has to say. And the shadow readings are to highlight what it is you're aware of and that you need to work on, or things you're not aware of that need to be brought to your attention. That includes things that we tend to lie to ourselves about, or downplay. Now for your subconscious thoughts and influences, the first card you have is obsession. I'm hearing self-absorbed with self-perception. Your actions don't line up with how you view yourself. And no matter how you examine the situation over and over and over and over and over again, your words and actions are not lining up. So you may be going over in your head, like whatever happened, whatever situation that happened, you may be going over it in your head intentionally or at random about what happened, how it happened, people that were involved, who said what, the different scenarios that would have been created if certain people didn't say or do certain things, and how things could have resulted in a better outcome. Now again, you may be doing this consciously, but either you're catching yourself wondering why you're thinking on it so much, or two, this is something you're doing internally in your own head. You may not fully understand why, but subconsciously it may be because of this obsession. Whatever it is that happened and the part you played in it does not match with how you view yourself. Because you're now viewing yourself as the villain in the story, but that's not how you see yourself. That's not how you see yourself. It's not how you go around and dress as people. You don't maliciously attack other people. You don't say or do things without meaning. So for you to say or do one simple thing and it leads to this drastic change, this drastic outcome, subconsciously you don't understand how 1 + 1 And okay, you know what? How Spirit is saying it, this whole situation, how it played out, 1 plus 1 is equaling 3, and you're not sure how you got there. You feel like it's wrong. You feel like it's a mistake. Sorry, correction. This whole situation is where 1 plus 1 equals 2, but you're not understanding how you got there. Like how all of this happened. The situation is correct. The results are what the results are, but you're still stuck figuring out, like, thinking, this is wrong, this has to be a mistake. I am not to blame. There's something else I'm missing. Either a step I overlooked. No, you're not overlooking anything. You're searching and obsessing for what you missed or overlooked, but the situation is what it is. How it played out, like how you remember it, is exactly what happened. It doesn't make you a bad person, it just means you made a mistake. It has severe consequences, but if it was a mistake, it was a mistake, because from none of these cards comes on the feeling that it was intentional. Now, the second card you have for your subconscious thoughts and influences is blinded to pain. Yeah, this does not apply to the pain that you may have caused. It's more of for yourself. You're in denial about how you're hurting over this situation. I'm not to blame. I don't feel guilty. Even in your subconscious thoughts, you don't understand how all of this happened. It may be causing you a great severe of pain, but you're not in a position to acknowledge it because you're too busy arguing against the final results of what happened. So you acknowledge that there are people around you that are hurting, of how they're upset, why they're upset. But to know that you're the cause of it, or to even think that you're the cause of it, that's the pain you don't know how to handle. So instead of facing it like a champ, you're running away from your own thoughts and emotions. You're running away from how you truly feel about the situation and burying it deep in the corners of your mind. You're not looking at the wound itself, you're just letting it fester and doing what you can to heal others. And lastly, have Bride in a Cage. I'm hearing picture perfect nightmare. I'm hearing you did everything right. Nothing went wrong. So how can this be the present you're living in? Okay, so you know, I gave only one example for forgetting and self-love for what happened, because that was what was coming out the strongest. Let me go back to this real quick to make sense of this. Because say everything went perfectly, yeah, what I'm mainly hearing is that someone made a mistake. Let's see, what if this was with work or something that was planned? Alright, so if this situation applies to something work related or something that you had planned out for, I'm hearing days, months, or even years. You planned everything accordingly and everything went perfect to plan. You just didn't take into account the human factor. Okay. You know how when you plan something, but you take the human emotion out of it, you don't consider how a person may react or how a person may feel? That's what spirit means by the human factor. Somewhere along the way, there was someone that had mixed feelings about whatever it was that was planned. One thing led to another. There was a final outburst, and all I'm hearing is, why didn't you say something in the beginning? But again, this wasn't with you. It was your idea. Your idea, our decision, your planning. So if there was more than one person involved, maybe y'all came to y'all agreed together, but somewhere along the way there is conflict between two or more people. Even though you planned this out perfectly, everything went according to plan. So possibly one step in something that you want to do or something you considered, it was either rude or insensitive to one or more people, but you didn't consider that possibility. You didn't think the outcome, or didn't think it would be that big of a deal until it was. But like I said, whatever this is, it wasn't your decision alone. Because I'm hearing it, someone else had to agree to it. And it's like you threw them under the bus, but you didn't throw them under the bus because your fear said it. Oh, so and so agreed with it. Why don't you? And like, so and so doesn't have a problem with it. Why do you? And that began the issue, not with you and somebody, but between person A and person B. I can't believe you didn't think it would bother me. Whoever these two people are that have the conflict that resulted in what you said, what they did, the way the energy is presenting, they have to know each other more better than they know you. And I'm sorry to say it like that, especially if you feel like that's not true. Because for them to be this mad at each other, sure, you're the cause, but for them to be focused on each other instead of you, even though they're saying you're the cause, they have to know each other better than how they know you. And now partly Bride in a Cage makes a little more sense, because the plan was simple and went smooth. It was very organized and detailed. Not one misstep. So how did it all go wrong? Because in your present moment, you feel like everything is ruined. For some of you, you feel like your future is destroyed. It may seem a little bit drastic, but considering your circumstances, because everyone's situation is different, it could quite possibly be to that extreme. Yeah, I'm still hearing beautiful nightmare. You can't believe this is the final outcome. Like, this disaster situation is the final outcome, even though everything went according to plan. It was picture perfect. It was beautiful. It was elegant. Everything just fell into place with ease. So how did everything get so fucked up? This is your subconscious thoughts and influences, like, still going back on the obsession. You're serious. Subconsciously, you're seriously trying to make sense of this. So if you're replaying the event, if you're replaying the situation that happened, this is why. because you're still stuck trying to figure out, even though your conscious mind is trying to just, not so much as turning a blind eye, but saying you're not the cause, you're not the problem. Subconsciously, you partly believe that as well. You're looking for any other answer, any other possibility other than you. Because you're not getting how 1 + 1 makes 2. You're not getting how 2 + 2 make 4. Like, something has to be off. The math has to be wrong somewhere. It's like, no, spirit. Anyway, what does spirit have to say? What does spirit have to say? I don't know. Okay, just leave it. What does spirit have to say? Okay, I missed my hand on that one. But let me just see. We got 5 cards on the table. 5. Top of the deck or top of the... Okay, top of the deck, you don't need it. Spirit, please stop playing. One moment, Pisces. Keep forgetting about this thing being here. Spirit saying one more card is needed. Something I missed. Okay. This one? Wait. Bottom left or bottom right? Right. Oh, this one's a side message. That's why. Let's see. You have Page of Air, 8 of Air, Five of Air, and King of Fire. Now you have a Page of Air, overlaying gilded regret, forgetting oneself, and masquerade. I'm hearing be prepared for open communication. Oh, okay. Be prepared for open communication with spirit and those that are around you. Brace yourself. It's not gonna be pretty. Someone has. Okay, in the traditional. Okay. I was gonna say something, but that wouldn't be a clear explanation. Basically, what Spirit is trying to say is that you delivered a message that wasn't yours to give, and now Spirit is coming to clean up the mess. More so, there's something that's gonna happen, kind of like a chain of events, that's gonna bring you all back to one another to clear the air But I'm hearing it's going to be worse than before because now there's mixed emotions and hurt feelings involved. No disrespect, Pisces, but suck it up, buttercup. There's a lot of pain involved. Everyone is facing the consequences. Accept the role you played. Accept the position you played. Take your mask off. Hear spirit when they offer you words of advice and wisdom. To how to proceed with this current predicament. For some of you, current situation. For others, current predicament. Now I'll have to look it up to know the difference between the two, but Pisces, some of y'all is going to experience this one way where it's not going to be as turbulent and chaotic as how the rest of you may experience it. Because like Spirit said, there's a lot of mixed feelings and hurt emotions, and that can turn the situation volatile real quick. Now, overlaying forgetting oneself, obsession, and blinded to pain, you have 8 of air. Trust your spirit guides to help see you through the situation. I'm hearing you are supported. It comes off as you feel like something bad is going to happen if you own up to what it is you did or what it is you said. Like if you come out and say like, yeah, it's my fault, you feel like shit gonna hit the fan. And I don't know, I'm over here seeing dishes flying, people yelling, people screaming, people over here dragging each other out on the street trying to hey, Pisces, y'all may see this as the end of the world thing, but Spirit is saying that you are supported. So however you think this may end up going, if you were to actually come out and say that this is your fault, like you made a mistake, trust your intuition, not your ego, because it's not as bad as you think. It may be the thing that helps calm the situation, but choose your words with care. Listen to Spirit when they say what to say, how to say it, and who to comfort first. So some of y'all may be receiving messages from Spirit already in regards to how best to navigate the situation. You may just have to do a better job of paying attention to the signs that are presenting themselves. And lastly, you have 5 of air and King of fire, overlaying masquerade, blinded to pain, and bride in a cage. I hear you're dancing above the stars. You're hearing what Spirit has to say, but you're missing the point. You're creating confusion where there not need any. I'm also hearing take a look around. Do people really understand what it is you're trying to say? This doesn't come off as an apology, more of you beating around the bush. But with the King of Fire here, learn the lessons of your past mistakes and use them as motivation to make a better future. Have an open heart, be compassionate with yourself and the way you lead your subjects. So yeah, also with what I said for the bride in the cage, with how things went so wrong, even though you had everything planned out, you can actually be a team leader, and consider team leader someone who usually knows what they're doing, whether it's work, whether it be in your work or personal life. You're being advised to have more compassion with the situation, being that you're the one that sets an example. You should be the one to take responsibility and lead your team accordingly with all the facts involved. Use it as motivation and inspiration to not repeat the same mistakes. Okay. Let's see. What advice do we have for Pisces? Spirit, what advice do you have for Pisces? Spirit, what? Oh. I didn't even touch it yet, but with the envy card, why do I feel like something was done out of envy and spite? Because I said earlier that I didn't feel like any of this was intentional. Why is that here? Apparently I stand corrected, Pisces. Because your advice, you have, I have difficulties pronouncing the names of the goddesses in this deck. Where is it? I believe it's Famnok for envy and Inanna for seduction. So for envy, don't act out of spite, don't act out of envy. You're being advised not to act out of spite or envy or jealousy of one's connection. And to take away what another person has. I hope you didn't, but if some of y'all did do this intentionally, y'all may have said what y'all said because y'all were envious of these two people. Person A and person B, like I said earlier, they may know each other they're better than they know you. And you may have said what you said or did what you did because you were jealous of their connection and may have felt left out of things. But you didn't expect it to have such a serious backlash that you now have to work to fix. Now, on the other hand, if you did not do this intentionally, someone may be envious of you after all this shit went down, in a sense of whatever you said, it speaks to how you're connected to one of them more than they're connected to each other, or at least that's how it feels. And now they're envious of you and think you're trying to take their place. So it's not so much advice, more of something to be cautious and aware of, and to remember that these are the results of your own action. And as well as seduction. Now, seduction doesn't always have to be sexual. It's more of, in this scenario, in this case, it's more of I'm hearing saying what you need to get on someone's good side. You're not buttering them up, but you're rephrasing a situation to make it seem more appealing than what it really is. So apparently when this happens, when y'all come back together and hash things out and clear the air, whether y'all do that of your own free will or the universe brings you all back together, you're going to speak in a way that de-escalates the situation and makes them feel right with each other. I'm just here not just with each other, but with all three of you. So it may just be three of you. For some, it could be more, but between the ones that have a conflict, so it could just be the three of you. Yeah, you're gonna speak in a way that brings comfortability back to the situation between. Spirit is also a little bit slick, Pisces, because I don't want to do side messages. I've been saying I don't want to do side messages until the first of the month. This isn't one of your main advices, more of a side message advice. Like envy is something for you to be aware of. Not necessarily something that would happen, but something that could happen. If you're not cautious, it's Diddy from revenge. So if you're dealing with someone who you think or know is petty, it could be quite possible that they're planning a course of action against you. I'm hearing leveling the playing field, so they may try. First things first, Spirit saying they may smile in your face now, they may be cool with you now, but once that feeling fades, they're still going to remember what it is you did and how you almost ruined it. Oh no, how you did ruin a good thing. So someone may consider getting back at you for what you cost them and everything they had to lose behind you running your mouth. Again, that was not your main advice. It was a side message advice and things you should be aware of. Now, depending on the severity of this situation and what came out of it, I can see why Spirit said you needed it. Because depending on how bad things got, either someone's coming for your head or someone's just being petty and trying to get back at you once they start remembering all the shit that happened because you decided to run your mouth without thinking. But anyway, Pisces, that is what I have for you. I do hope you enjoyed the reading, and if you did, please do hit the like and subscribe button as there will be more videos to come. See you later, Pisces.